The first corner of the 2025 Austin Sprint will be remembered as a battlefield that tore apart Oscar Piastri's ambitions. When the green flag waved, McLaren looked ready to challenge Red Bull's dominance. Lando Norris started from second, Piastri from fourth, the orange duo poised to steal crucial points. But in an instant, it all collapsed. Nico Hülkenberg, in what McLaren later called a reckless move, slammed into the back of Norris's car, triggering a chain reaction that swallowed Piastri whole. The number 81 McLaren was out, its hopes of valuable championship points destroyed at the hands of an unforgiving rival. "There was nothing I could do," Piastri sighed over the radio, his voice heavy with frustration that carried all the way through the paddock. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso, whose aggressive launch had congested the corner, slipped away untouched. Hulkenberg became the scapegoat. McLaren demanded justice, insisting that Piastri, a young driver in the midst of proving his class, had been robbed of a golden opportunity. Under the Texas sun, Max Verstappen had the last laugh, exploiting the chaos for another effortless win. Yet the true story wasn't Red Bull's victory, but the injustice that befell Piastri and Norris. Would the FIA act? Or would McLaren have to take revenge in the main race? If you enjoy in-depth F1 analysis like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. The events at the Circuit of the Americas on October 19, 2025 were more than just another racing incident. This sprint was meant to be McLaren's chance to close the gap to Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. Norris and Piastri started from ideal positions, backed by strong pace from practice sessions. Telemetry showed McLaren was competitive on Cota's long straights, making them a genuine threat to Verstappen. But that first corner changed everything. Fernando Alonso, starting from seventh, dived aggressively down the inside, forcing those around him to react. Hulkenberg, right behind Norris, failed to anticipate the chain of movements ahead and clipped the McLaren. The contact sent Norris sideways into Piastri, who had been holding a clean racing line. Piastri's car sustained terminal damage, out on lap 1. Norris, though he tried to continue, later retired with more issues. Up front, Verstappen cruised to a comfortable sprint win and 8 easy points. McLaren didn't stay silent. Team principal Andrea Stella pointed squarely at Hulkenberg. "Nico's move was completely careless," he said, stressing that the crash was avoidable with better control. Telemetry backed him up. Norris was on a legitimate line. Piastri boxed in with nowhere to go. "Someone just hit me!" Piastri exclaimed on the radio, his frustration echoing among fans. Hulkenberg defended himself, claiming Norris braked too early. McLaren dismissed that as a weak excuse. Piastri, calm as ever, stated he'd done nothing wrong, just racing cleanly when chaos unfolded around him. For McLaren, the issue wasn't just about losing points. It was about watching a rising star robbed of his stage to shine, a painful reminder of how quickly Formula One can turn cruel. Then there was Alonso, the silent catalyst in the chaos. His aggressive launch had packed the field into a bottleneck that ultimately sparked the chain reaction. He never touched either McLaren, but his move forced everyone behind to improvise, including Hulkenberg. The FIA called it a racing incident, a verdict that left McLaren fuming. Alonso walked free, Hulkenberg too. Stella announced the team would push the FIA to review its approach to start incidents. For Piastri, the ruling was a double blow. Points gone and his race reduced to collateral damage. Australian fans who see Piastri as the new hope of Formula One felt the sting too. Social media lit up with outrage, many calling for tougher enforcement from the FIA. The impact of that crash went far beyond a 0-point finish. McLaren slipped further behind Red Bull in the constructors' standings. Verstappen's sprint win widened his lead in the drivers' title fight, while Norris and Piastri walked away empty-handed. Piastri's pace in practice had shown real potential. He'd been fast enough to challenge Verstappen, his data consistent across COTA's high-speed sectors. That made the loss even harder to swallow. At the very moment he seemed ready to prove himself among the sport's elite, he was wiped out by someone else's mistake. Yet his response was measured, even mature. "We'll focus on the main race," he said afterward. "There's still a big opportunity there." It was the kind of answer you'd expect from a seasoned driver, not one barely in his third season. Quiet confidence instead of complaint. If you want to know how Piastri might turn it around, stay tuned. The numbers tell a different story. Attention now shifts to the United States Grand Prix. McLaren believes the scorching Austin weather could play to their advantage. Their setup suits COTA's straight-line sections. Piastri's car, in particular, looked planted through sectors 1 and 3, areas that reward aerodynamic efficiency. Starting from a competitive grid position, he has a real chance at redemption. "We have the pace to win," he said firmly, refusing to let the sprint define his weekend. The team will analyse data carefully to refine their start approach, but Piastri's intent remains the same: stay aggressive. At this level, even safe strategies can be dangerous. The first corner will once again be a minefield, and McLaren knows it. Stella remains optimistic, noting that their car thrives in hot conditions. The balance, the tyre management, the aerodynamic window all line up well for Sunday. But one mistake off the line and the whole narrative could repeat itself. The FIA's decision not to penalise Hulkenberg or Alonso has reignited old debates about stewarding consistency. Incidents just like this, such as the first lap pile-up in Hungary 2021, had earned heavy penalties in the past. So why not here? McLaren is preparing an informal protest, less to change the result and more to force a conversation about fairness. For Piastri's supporters, though, the verdict feels like betrayal, especially given how cleanly he raced all season. Yet in the chaos, Piastri remains a standout. At just 24, he's already proven himself composed under pressure, a rare blend of intelligence and precision. Austin may have robbed him of points, but not of stature. His season, with regular podiums and speed matching Norris, speaks for itself. This was just another test. The main Grand Prix in Austin now stands as Piastri's best chance to rewrite the story. For McLaren, it's not just about damage control, but about proving they belong in the title conversation. For Piastri, it's about reclaiming agency, showing that he's more than a victim of circumstance. The car has the speed, the team has the plan, and if fortune finally decides to cooperate, they could turn frustration into statement. Zach Brown and Andrea Stella know better than anyone. In Formula One, justice doesn't always come from the stewards' room. Sometimes it comes from the timing screens. The 2025 Austin Sprint is a harsh reminder of how thin the line is between opportunity and disaster. Oscar Piastri did nothing wrong, yet he paid the price. Alonso and Hulkenberg may have escaped unpunished this time, but Formula One has a way of balancing its own scales. In a sport driven by chaos, sometimes the only form of justice comes from what happens next. If you enjoy deep F1 breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe and stay with us for more insight into the ever-twisting world of Formula One. And perhaps the most compelling question heading into Sunday is this: will Piastri strike back with speed, or simply wait and let karma do the driving?